All right, so King of the Rat Kings asks, what is the symbolism of profanity, particularly how modern languages tend to place words related to things like feces and sexuality as profanity, as opposed to archaic profanities like in Quebecois. And so what King of the Rat Kings is suggesting is because in Quebecois, like the French Canadian, their profanity or their swearing is all religious words, and you hear that in English too. People will say the name of Christ, will say the name of the Mother of God as a form of swearing, as a form of profanity. And so that is definitely, that's what it is. That's really a form of debasing. It has to do with the idea that, so I've talked to you about the idea of let's say the nakedness of glory and the nakedness of shame. And it has to do with what I talked about in my video on the mark of Cain. And so it had to do with setting aside. So what happens is that there are two aspects of setting aside. There's an aspect of setting aside, which is setting aside above, right? So all the holy things. And there's an aspect of setting aside, which is setting aside to exclude or to bury, the taboo part, let's say. And so the setting aside above, that has to do with the religious words. The setting aside, let's say, of shame has to do with all of the idea of feces and of dirty versions of sexuality, or using shocking words to describe sex and to describe the things that you hide in shame, the things that you're not supposed to expose. So that's also why the words we use as profanity for sexual words are not talking about procreation or about, a loving, tender relationship with your spouse, but is a kind of vulgar word which debases sexuality. That's why it's profanity. So it has to do with this setting aside. Now, what's fascinating about swearing is that it's also taking that which is set aside above and bringing it down below. And so it's turning that which is set aside for God and making it at the level of set aside in the shameful side, in the shameful way. And so that's what's going on there. That's why in swearing, you'll both have words that are about taboos and about about excrement and things that are supposed to be hidden, and about things that are supposed to be hidden in the holy things. So that's what's going on there. That's why both of those extremes are used to let's say express something beyond meaning, express something beyond rational meaning. And that's often what swearing is. It's something like expressing an emotion which is beyond meaning, beyond rational meaning. And so it comes out as these taboo words. Expressing emotions which are too strong, expressing surprise, expressing frustration. All of this is the place where swearing will appear. And it's also filler, like basic, just filler, meaningless words that people insert into sentences because they can't hold their meaning together, let's say. And so they have a bad habit of putting in these filler words that aren't actually meaningful, but are taboo words. So hopefully, I don't think I've ever talked about this before. So I think hopefully this will help you kind of understand why swearing and profanity, why they look the way they do.